In last session, now you know how to install no Redshift now. What is cluster? What is no? Okay, master node. Next, what is like the slave nodes, etc. Okay, so you are familiar with those things, and you know practical by hands-on sessions. Okay, you know very well how to install the Redshift, deploy the Redshift. Today we will try to see how to connect to the database, and we will try to create a simple database. Okay, and most important, as far as Redshift is concerned, it is, since it is a data warehouse system, it support for structure language, unstructured format of data, sorry, structured format of data, unstructured format of data, and mixed format of data. Okay, so as far as database is concerned, like you DynamoDB, you take, okay, all those things store the data in a structured format. Okay, and we will see how to deploy the data using S3 bucket, which is in the unstructured format of data. Most important, next, this is the recently introduced service called Glue. Glue is an ETL system. Okay, extract, transfer, and language. Okay, so it will allow us to connect your database to the Redshift. Fine. Suppose let us say I want to transfer the data from DynamoDB to the Redshift, so we can have a Glue system here. Understood? So we will try to see just installation. I'm say okay. I'll demonstrate. Even we'll try to transfer some of the data from the S3 to our Redshift query. Aurora, again, one of the fastest database system. Okay, but before that, I'm going to discuss about SNS. These are simple services. Okay, like what we have seen in simple email services. There are two more generally we use for marketing purposes called SNS. I think you are experienced about this notification messages. You'll get automated notification messages, right? So we will try to design, see how to do such type of things. SNS stands for simple notification services. SQ is simple queue services. Okay, so we can write the mail and we can keep it in SQS. So after that we can trigger that one using SNS services. Okay, let's dive into hands-on session. Oh, hold on a second. Let me hover over my main console. So this is my main console here. You know very well how to get into, how to enter into the Redshift. So let me check. Yeah. Can you see the screen?
No, sir.
One second. Now can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay. You can see the screen now. Well, let me go to the dashboard. Hold on. It's taking, yeah. So this is the dashboard. Okay, so you know very well how to create the system, like how to create the cluster. So as far as this dashboard is concerned, it's showing like I have one cluster. Okay, and that cluster contains two sub node or slave nodes. Understood? So I have taken around 7 snapshot, nothing but the mirror copy of that the cluster. Okay, while executing the query, it has automatically taken the snapshot, nothing but the mirror image of my the cluster. If something went wrong means I can back up that using this snapshot. Let me go to my cluster now. Okay, so yesterday we was finding some difficulty while connecting this cluster to the database. Let me enter into cluster now. Hold on. Okay, so this is my cluster called demo Redshift cluster. Fine. So this is right now, this is available. So let me click on this. Hold on. Yeah, it's loading. One second. Okay, so just you'll get the list of the cluster which are available. Okay, in Redshift. So after that, just click on that the cluster name. Okay, so it will take you to this. Yeah. So after that, you click on that cluster name. One second, it's showing some not found. Hold on, participants. Let me refresh this. Let me refresh this. Hold on. Okay. This is because I was practicing from last 1 hour. Okay, maybe because of that it is asking. After that I didn't use Redshift module. That's the reason it is asking me to re-enter the password. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So this is my cluster. Can you see the participant? Can you see this? Participants? Yeah. This is my cluster. Yesterday I created this one. Okay, so now next is what we was finding difficulty to connect to the database. No, so to connect to the database, you have to click here, query cluster. Okay, so yesterday we were searching here, okay, for the connection of the database, but it was here. Okay, click on query cluster. Just I'll show you how to connect to the database, and we will try to run one simple query like how to create the database using Redshift. Okay, so now here what happens is I have already created the database, but I'll show you how to connect that to the database, this Redshift to the database. Okay, so let me change the connection. Let me try this. Let me change the connection. Here, see, yesterday, okay, so it was asking, let me try to have the new connection. Let's go to new connection just for the demonstration purpose. So yesterday we was trying with in this connection database. So the moment when you click on connect to the database, it will ask for the cluster. So make sure that while connecting to the database, cluster is already created, and after creating the cluster, it should be available. Okay, so it should be in active mode. Database. Yesterday we gave admin, no, participants. Yes, no. Yeah, yesterday we give admin. Yeah, but by default, the Redshift will create the name database in the name of DEV. Okay, div. By default, we gave div. Okay, by default, it creates the database using the div name in the name of div. Okay, so next is database user. Obviously, I had given admin. Okay, so next is the password. The password was ADMIN123. Okay, so let me see the password. A was starting from capital letter A. Next, the rest of the things are as normal. So now you can connect this one. Okay, so let me try to connect this. Since this is already connected, let me try to connect this. Okay, so it will not, because this already authentication failed, it is asking, but this is already I have connected, but this is a procedure, okay, to connect to the my database system. Okay, so after filling all this detail, after assigning the cluster, you just click on connect to the database. Now next is, let me close this because already I have connected in the Redshift. Okay, so the moment when you click on connect, it will take you to this page. Okay, so this is the main the platform where generally we write the queries, and where okay, we try to extract the data from the other sources in the Redshift. Okay, so here if I want to write the query, it's quite simple. Okay, just this is the dashboard where we can write the query. Can someone tell me how to create the database? What is a query? How to create the database? Participant, create, participants, participants. Okay, So to create the database, generally you type create database, database name. Let us say the database name be employee. Okay, next semicolon. Now run this, select this here, most important. Suppose if you want to run any query here in Redshift, you have to select that query. Okay, so select that query, run it. Select that query and run that query. So you can see here. Okay, so all the execution process you can see here in this section. It's done right now, it is running. Hold on. Okay, so it's taking time. Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, so let that get execute. So that is how we run the query. Now in the same fashion, like how I have created the simple database, in the same way we can run all the query, like how we are running in MySQL to create the table. Now next to trigger the table, to enter the data into table. Okay, so all those the things we can perform here in this area. Let me see the status, whether that, yeah, it got created now. Okay, I can access this. Okay, access this. Next is let me try to check whether that this table is created or not. Okay, to check that, go to query here. So now I was in editor. Now go to query and just check all the saved query here. Query and loads. Queries and load. Hold on, it's taking time. Queries and loads. Queries and loads. Okay, so these are the completed queries. Okay, so this was, I was trying this to run this. Next is reserve nodes, queries and nodes, saved queries. Let me check in saved queries. Okay, so let me check in saved queries. Here you can see there is one database called database. Okay, student database. Okay, in the same way, I have created one table called student table, but it is not displaying my just now what I have created. What is that? Employee database, no? Participants. Yeah, let me go to editor. It's not showing. Okay, the database what I have created. Anyways, but this is how we are creating the database here. Okay, I will come to this one once after connecting this one to the glue. Okay, and we'll see where that database is created. And the most important here is, since Redshift, it provides all the services, all the queries. Okay, all the data, even the data also it provides. Okay, so based upon, the only thing is what you have to do is, so you get your data, okay, from the S3 and run these queries. So application, let me see here, there are three sections. Information schema, next catalog schema, internal schema, and public schema. So let me try in and all this. Okay, so we can use in the production department. Just run this schema, get the data from the S3 or any other source. Next, run this schema, attach it and run this schema. Automatically Redshift will take care of all your data. Okay, you need not to worry about even the patches, even the errors. Automatically it will take care of everything. Okay, so let me see some of the tables which are available in this predefined schema. Okay, so column name, you can see here, column name. Okay, column name, domain catalog, domain name, domain schema, catalog, table name. Okay, table schema, all this are available. Let me try to see the format of any one table column here. Column name, let me select the column name and click on table credential. Okay, so you will get all the column name related to that table. So you see here, these are the attributes and these are the exam length, amount length. Okay, and these are the type. Okay, SQL identifiers are shown here. But next is this will come to this. Okay, when we start executing our project, I hope now you are clear how to deploy your Redshift cluster, as well as how to connect to the database. Okay, now the most important, since I told you Redshift is very expensive. As far as my experience is concerned, I feel like it's very expensive. Okay, so it should not affect our budget. Okay, so it should not exceed the limit of $300, which is freely the gifted credential from the Amazon Web Services. So we need to set some alarm here. Alarm. Okay, so if at the moment when I exceed that amount, okay, I should get the notification from the AWS that you have exceeded that amount. So let's try to see that one, how to set that one. Okay, even for all the other services, not only for the Redshift. Okay, so to do that, for billing system, just go to your console. Let me reload this. Let me reload. Hold on. Okay, so here go to your login credential. Hold on, it's processing. Hold on, it's processing. Go to your login credential. Click on your login credential. Here you can see, okay, the my billing dashboard. Can you see participants? Participants.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so go to my billing dashboard. This is very important. So in the initial set, before creating the cluster in Redshift, first you set your billing status. Okay. Okay, so it will take you, hover over to your billing status, where you will get the complete report. Okay, so how much amount of the data, the credential or the amount Amazon already have detected. So far, I think from last month, 25th, I started using this services, and you can see my billing report. Okay, they have charged me how much, participants? Participants. Hello. Okay, they have charged me just 97.78 INR, and we have used for maximum extent, right? And this is the report actually. So what I got from the Amazon last month, it was, they charged me just 0.01. Okay, and this monthly still it is in forecasting. Okay, 0.29. This is my current what? The current bill. Okay, so you can see here, this is my current bill, 1.29. It is forecasting me. Okay, if you are trending, if you are using our services in the same manner, okay, so end of the month your charge may exceed, or it will reach up to 4.02. This is a prediction called forecasting. Okay, so I can predict now for the month of August, my charges will be around 4.02 predicted, but it can be within the range of this, or it can exceed. Now the most important, how they have given here the complete status. Okay, where we are charging maximum. Okay, so they are charging me where? In route 53. What is route 53, participants? Why we are using Route 53? Participants?
Domain name.
Domain name. I have transferred the domain name. Okay. So domain name, it is in the already real production department. Okay. It is already in the production status. That's the reason for the Route 53. Okay. For one domain, they are charging me $1 per month. Okay. So in the same way, SageMaker, in SageMaker also bit expensive. Okay. So if you are running any machine learning, the algorithm, okay, so based upon the amount of hours you have executed, they are going to charge. Okay, and they have charged me 0.09. And my tax, this is related to tax. I think the tax is more than their services. Okay, so total amount of the right now so far my bill is 1.29. But if it exceed now, it will be headache for me. So I have to set the notification. If it exceed $4, I have to get the notification like, okay, you have exceeded our $4. So to do that one, there is an option here called alerts and notification. Students, before practicing any bulky services like Redshift, you take databases, machine learning, SageMaker, RoboMaker, Alexa, okay, Alexa for business. Okay, while practicing with those environment, make sure that you set this billing notification first. Okay, so here click on create and manage your budget. Okay, click and manage your budget. So it will load. Hold on. It's taking time. Okay, so this is the process we need to complete. First, cost budget. Okay, so click on cost budget, set your budget. So we can set our budget. Let's say my budget be forecasted now $4. So I can set the budget here. Let's see the name of the EC2 budgets, monthly budget. Let's see. I'll give August 2020. Okay, August 2020. Fine. Hold on. Yeah. Period monthly wise. I'll take monthly wise. You can have other options also here. Monthly, quarterly, annually. So I'll keep monthly wise. So recurring budget, that means same should be followed for the next month also. Okay, so August next month it should continue. Okay, so this is fixed. Create a budget that tracks against the single monthly budget amount. Okay, or monthly budget planning. Specify your budget amount for each budget period. You can specify, you can keep on varying here. Let me keep my budget amount is, my forecasted amount is $4. I don't want to exceed more than that. Okay, I don't want to spend more than 500 rupees for my Amazon. You can set your company can set in thousands. Okay, so based upon their access. Next, advanced. Under advanced user, unblended cost. Okay, so unblended cost. Next, next we have blended cost. Okay, amortizes cost. Okay, so I'll give for unblended cost, that comes for all the services. Okay, so refunds, credits. Okay, include cost related to refunds, credits. No credits already they have given, no 300 rupees of credits. Okay, upfront revision fees. Oh yeah, I want to check recurring reservation charges, other subscription cost, taxes, support charges, discounts. All these things I should include except the refunds and the credits. Okay, so next let's go to configure alerts. Configure alerts. Okay, so you can set the alert here. Let us say I have given my budget is how much? $4. Okay, so I can, before that also I can set the alert notification. Let's say it has not exceeded my $4. Okay, and before, let us say $3.5, I want to get the notification. So that I can set some, okay, I can have certain kind of a setting in AWS. And next, okay, so based upon that, based upon my target budget, I can use the services. So here, let us say I'll set here 75% of $4. Okay, 75% of $4 means how much? You can have 4 divided by 75 into 100. Okay, so that much, when it reach that much amount, it should trigger me. Okay, actual cost. You can have actual cost and forecasted cost. Okay, this is my threshold, which is in sorry, budget. Or you can have absolute value also here. Let me try with absolute value. Okay, so absolute value you can have, yeah, it has mentioned here. Okay, absolute value, let's say 3.5. Okay, 3.5. Okay, so this is how we can set. Now, most important, where to send this, where to send. Okay, so we can give our name, email address. So notification should go to this email, xer@gmail.com, @gmail.com. Next, notify via Amazon Simple Notification Services, SNS. We'll talk about SNS. What is SNS here? Okay, let me click on this. Let me click on this. Now, next is SNS topic. And no, right now I don't want in the SNS. Let me have the default this one, email address. Okay, so next, confirm budget. Confirm budget. Okay, so confirm budget. So here you will get the complete configuration listed out. Okay, so you can see here August 2020 monthly, from August 1 to 20, end of the date, budget is $4. Okay, and blended cost, taxes, all those things are included, excluded, credits, and okay, refunds. Contact email address is 1, and my threshold is 3.5, which is nothing but 87.50 of my $4. Next, create it. Next, create it. Okay, so now it is got created. Now what happens? Okay, so when it reaches $3.5 or 87.5% of my $4, I'll get the notification message. Where? To my email address. Okay, so this is how we are setting it. Okay, so in the beginning itself, you set to even for your accounts also, so it will be easy for us to track it. And remember, you're not going to pay anything extra here, remember. So this is going to taken from your $30, okay, which is already created by the Amazon. Hope you are clear. Sorry, not $30, $300. It is going to deduct $4 is going to deduct from my $300 per month. Or you can set based upon your requirement and how you are using the AWS console. Okay, so now let's go to again Redshift. As I told you, Redshift is support for both the structure as well as unstructured format of data. Suppose if I want to extract any data, okay, from the other sources to the Redshift. Okay, so we make use of the another service called Amazon Glue. So can you see this one, participants? Participants?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen, PPT?
No, sir.
Yeah. Amazon Glue. Okay, we make use of Amazon Glue. Okay, it is an ETL tool which will allow us to transfer the data from one module to another module. Let us say I want to transfer the data from S3 to Redshift. So I'll make use of Glue. Okay, so Glue platform. Let's start with the Glue now. Let's see how to deploy a Glue and how to configure Glue with the S3 bucket. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so please pay attention. Okay, how to configure Glue with the Redshift. Okay, in the same way, you can compare Glue with the Lambda function, right? Okay, so either we can use Lambda functions or we can use Glue also. Glue is recently designed. Okay, it not only transfer the data, it will support us to mine the data. Let us say if any unstructured format of noisy data are there, means it will allow us to clean the noisy data also. Now next, most important, let us say this is, you know, familiar with this S3 bucket. Okay, I have 4 buckets here. Let me see, let me hover over to any one of my bucket. Let's say Xerxes, XER, XEZ. Okay, so under Xerxes, you can see there are 2 CSV data sets, right? One is for AEP power station, for the power station. We are going to use this one for the power consumptions of the cities. Now next, HR data sets we have. Now let us imagine that I want to transfer this HR data set to my Redshift. Let's see how to do it using the Amazon Glue. Okay, so already, but before that one, you have to give the complete permission so that anyone can access this data set. Let us imagine that I want to transfer this to my Glue. Okay, so to do that, again you go to console, This is disturbing me, 1 second. Let me close this. Let me close the billing section. Okay, so now go to your main console. Okay, so Glue, you can hold on, hold on participants. Yeah, Glue, you can see Amazon Glue. Amazon Glue comes under ETL, or else you can type directly in the console Glue. Type Glue here. Glue, GLUE, Glue. Hold on. Yeah, so you can see here, the moment when you search under search button, you can see Amazon Glue is fully managed ETL, extract, transfer, and load services. It's a completely ETL services, and this is widely used in data analytics. Okay, so let us say Athena we have. In Athena also we can use. Okay, so from Athena we can transfer the complete data to other software for the data analysis. Let's say Tableau is there. Okay, BI tool like SPSS from IBM are there. We can transfer that data. Now, the moment when you type, you can click on, select this Amazon Glue, and it will take you to this page. Take you to this page. Hold on. Let me refresh this. Hold on, participants. Hold on, participant. It's taking time. Huh? Okay, so this is the main dashboard. Okay, where we can configure for your S3 bucket with the Redshift. Here, please pay attention because the method is bit different here while creating the Glue for Redshift and S3. So generally what we do, okay, we hover over to tables, no? Participants, please keep on asking questions. Please keep on asking questions. Otherwise, Okay, I feel like you are just like satisfaction will not be there. Okay, so whether you are understanding or not. Okay,
Okay.
so here tables, there are three options here, not three. Here there is a database, so you can connect the tables here. Okay, the tables of Redshift, DynamoDB, etc. Next comes the connections. Okay, so under connections, the most important is Traveler. This is the heart and soul of the glue. Understood? It transfer the data from one service to the another service. Traveler is important. Next, we have the classifiers. Okay, so after configuring these three things, that is the connections, first traveler, sorry, first classifier, next comes the traveler, next comes the connections, next we can run the job here. Okay, using the option called jobs. Even we can trigger. Okay, so trigger comes later. Okay, once after your job is activated. Let's try to first uh, create. Let us imagine that I want to transfer the CSV file to Redshift. Okay, so let's try to configure that one. To do that one, just click on classifiers. First classifiers comes, you can note down. Okay, so next is add classifier. Add classifier. So here, okay, so you can name the classifier with the extension. What type of data you want to transfer? Let us say my classifier CSV. I'm going to have. Let's try to have a CSV classifier. Okay, so with the extension, let us say type B CSV. Okay, and column delimiter, keep comma. Okay, so comma for CSV. Now next is code symbol. Okay, so code symbol, we will keep same thing, double quoted one. Okay, double quoted one only we keep, or else we have separate quote symbols here. Okay, I think it's better to keep double quoted one by default. Okay, so next is column heading. Okay, column heading. See, in column heading there are three options. Either the classifier itself can detect. Okay, he can go to that S3 bucket, he can search, he can read the complete contents of the CSV file, and he can detect whether the column name is available in the CSV file or not. Now next we can give, has headings. That column contains an headings called the attributes, or no headings. There are three options here is. So what I will do, since my CSV file contains an heading, so I'll click on has headings. Okay, so next is, so after clicking on has headings, next, okay, so this you keep as it is by default. I don't want to disturb this, so keep by default. Okay, so enter the list of columns headings. If you want, you can do that one. Okay, by commas delimited list. Processing options allow files with the single column. Trim white spaces before identifying the column values. Sometimes what happens, most important. Okay, even I have experienced this one in while writing and executing Python program. So when you have two spaces between, when you have the spaces between the two values, let us say sunny and warm. Okay, in between sunny and warm, if you are placing any spaces after comma, before comma and after comma, okay, so it will not give the result. It will send an error message. Okay, so here the interesting point here is a glue. Okay, it is having the option, if there is a space in the CSV file, it can trim automatically. It will trim the spaces. Okay, so next is, you will come to know all these things when you start executing your machine learning programs in 7th semester. Okay, so next is create. Okay, so now my crawler is CSV. So CSV classifier is ready now, right? Participants?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
classifier is ready. CSV classifier is ready. So next is to store the, next is crawler. Classifier is ready. Now next we have to go for the crawler. Where is the, crawler? Classifier, go to crawler, hold on. Okay, sorry, go to crawler. Next, add crawler. Okay, add crawler.
Crawler name.
Okay, Crawler. Don't get confused. Classifier I created. Now I'm in Crawler. Okay. Hope you are clear, interns. First I created classifier. Now it is Crawler. Okay. So next is give the name for the Crawler. Let us say my Crawler name be CSV Crawler from S3. Okay, Crawler from S3. I click on next. Okay, so next is, so after that, Crawler name, after giving the Crawler name, data store, where the data is stored. Can someone tell me where the data are stored? Data are stored in, my data is where? S3 bucket. Okay, so let us have data stored in S3 bucket. So you can give the catalog table name also here if you want. If you have data, you suppose, let us say you want to fetch the data from other database, let us say DynamoDB is there, MySQL are there, okay, Oracle are there. So from there, if you want, you can give the table name here, data store. Okay, next is S3, choose the data store. Obviously I have stored the data where? In the S3 bucket. Now along with the S3, okay, it will show me the list of all the other database which I have created under my AWS console. So as far as this is concerned, I have JDBC. JDBC I have created for Redshift, right? Yes or no? Redshift, ODBC and JDBC to read and write the data. DynamoDB already I have. Okay, so already we have created while demonstrating the Lambda function. Now next, the most important, okay, so we need to give the exact location where our data exists inside the S3 bucket, specified path in my account, specified path in another account. Okay, so there are two options here. So let me choose, okay, this one. Let me try to fetch the data within inside my default VPC. Okay, so next is we need to give the path here. To give the path, click on this browse. Okay, so it will show me, okay, it will display how many number of buckets are available inside my S3 bucket. Okay, so let us say I will choose my XCR XCZ, and so inside XCR XCZ, okay, I have the CSV file like HR data set. Click on HR data set. Now select it. Okay, select. So there are other optional options also. Exclude pattern option, exclude patterns. If you want, you can have the patterns also here, pattern of the data. Okay, so for the time being, I don't want to modify this, just keep as it is, which is an optional here. Click on next. Okay, so add another database. Do you want to add another database? No. So I don't want to add any other database. Let it be the same. Okay, so next, click on next. IAM role. Most important here is, okay, so we need to create one IAM or role here. Hold down. Okay, so here, as far as IAM role is concerned, let me create one new role. Okay, for especially for the glue. Okay, so guest services, create a new. So I will type, let me type the name of the role be Redshift, okay, hyphen S3 data, S3 data. So I'm going to create one more new role here. Okay, you can also create an IAM role on IAM console. Okay, so again, I don't want to go there. Just by default, I will create here itself. Let me note down this IAM role because I'm going to use this one while configuring the security settings in a Redshift. Okay, or S3 bucket. Okay, so my IAM role be Redshift hyphen S3 data. S3 data. Now next is, click on next. Okay, run on demand. There are there are plenty of options as far as execution is concerned. Okay, so run on demand. So as for the need of the company or as for your need, we can run the queries hourly basis, automation systems, daily basis, chooses the days. You can choose the days. You can skip weekends. Okay, weekly or monthly. So I will choose run on demand. Okay, so next. So under this, next, the most important here is to give the database name. Okay, one second. Yeah. run on demand. Okay, that is nothing but the frequency. Crawler output. Okay, so where we need to put this one. Okay, so where target, database target we need to give here. Hold on. Add database. 1 second. Yeah, 1 second here. You type hello. Hello. Yeah, type name of the database. You can give any name here of the database. CSV data from S3. Any doubt, participants? Yeah, CSV. I'll have the new database name here. CSV. CSV data from S3. Data from S3. Data from S3. Next is there are other optional options also. We can describe the name of that database. Okay, create it. Okay, so now next prefix added to the table. It again, it is an optional. I don't want to yeah, keep as it is blank or because it is an option. Group behavior of the S3 also optional. Configure option. Okay, configure option is also optional. Okay, so here update tables defined in the data catalog. Okay, no, we don't want those things. Let me keep as it is. Next, click on next. Next is finish it off. Okay, so now you can see, okay, my classifier is ready. Hold on, yeah, my classifier is ready. Now my Crawler is getting ready now. So it is getting ready. Okay, so now we need to schedule this one. Now the data is where? Now the data, Crawler, what he did, okay, the moment when I configured the Crawler with the S3, okay, he went exactly to that place where my CSV data is there, and he fetched all the contents, okay, which are available in that S3 bucket. Okay, so next stage is to run the Crawler. But to run the Crawler, okay, we need to have the connections first. Okay, so to run the Crawler, first let us go to connection. First we need to connect this Crawler. Okay, so click on connections. Now next is add connection. Add connection. Okay, so here as far as add connections are concerned, connection name, you can give any connection name. Let us say the connection name be Redshift. Okay, cluster. Redshift cluster, and the connection type be which one? Connection type, participant, can you judge? Participant, I want reply. Which connection it should choose here? Participants, which connection? Which connection, participants? Please reply, participants.
JDBC?
No, not JDBC.
Amazon Redshift.
Redshift.
Amazon
Redshift.
Redshift. Oh yeah, Amazon Redshift. Select on Amazon Redshift. Okay, so next, again, this is an optional. Do you require SSL certificate? Remember, since we are under testing, okay, demo better not to, okay, fetch this SSL certificate because it is going to cost you again extra amount. This is description, again, it is an optional. If you want, you can keep, or else click on next. Next is, okay, so the cluster here. Next, set up access to the to your data store cluster. Click on see here. You can you see this one? Demo Redshift cluster. Where I created this one? Participants. Where we have created this one? Demo Redshift cluster. What is this demo Redshift cluster? Participants. Participants.
Starting creating the Redshift cluster. Starting.
Yes, it is the name of the cluster what we have created under Redshift. Since I have only one cluster with master node and 2 data nodes, so that is displaying here. Yeah, that is displayed here. Okay, the cluster, I have only one cluster, and automatically see it has taken the username. Database name is what? Diff and username is admin. Can someone tell me what is the password?
Admin 123.
Admin ADMIN 123. Okay, click on next. So it will show all the properties. Redshift, Amazon Redshift. Okay, SSL is not there. Okay, demo Redshift cluster is the cluster name. Admin is this. VPC ID is this one by default. Subnet is this one. Security group is this one. And these are the three default VPC subnet security group I have used in almost all the modules in under my Amazon Web Services. Okay, so now this JDBC now Redshift cluster is it's getting connected using type JDBC here. Okay, hold on, and the update root here you can see here. So the connection is under root, that means the super user. Okay, in the next hold on, in next let me go to Traveler. Let me see whether the Traveler is activated or not. Okay, so table update nothing. Last runtime just I have created and kept as it is. Next is classifier. Let me check on classifier. Okay, so next, okay, cluster defined. Now let's go to database. Hold on a second, participant. Okay, so far now I have created what? Classifier is ready, crawler is ready. Next is connection is also ready. Let me check on tables. Okay, so table so far I don't have any tables. Let me see the database. Database, can you see here automatically it has generated one database called CSV data from S3. Already we have created this. Now next is, okay, to go to jobs. Okay, so to run this Traveler we need to go to jobs. Click on jobs. Click on jobs. Hold on. It's taking time, wait. Yeah, click on jobs. Here we need to add the jobs. Okay, so click on add job. Okay, click on add job. Name of the job, let's see, the name of the job be transfer S3. Transfer S3. Transfer S3. Okay, to Redshift. Transfer S3 to Redshift. Hold on. Transfer S3 to Redshift. Okay, choose an IAM role. By default, it has created obviously AWS Glue service role, Redshift, S3 data. Okay, so type is here. Which type it is? Job type is. Hold on. Yeah, type Spark only. I will take Python shell Spark. I will take. Okay, Spark for the database execution. Generally, we use the Spark machine in big data analytics, Hadoop. Okay, sorry, in Hadoop engine, generally we use this. By default, I'll keep this one only. Okay, Spark with the Python. Okay, so rest of the things I'll keep as it is. Now the most important here is, let's see, this is the path where the script is stored, root. Okay, so suppose if you want to change this, you can change it. Okay, so next is advanced properties. Let me root of glue. Okay, we'll discuss about this because from here we need to copy the script to Redshift. Okay, so disable job maker, monitoring the options. No, next tag optional again, security configuration, path library path. Okay, so I'll keep this one again. It is an optional one. Optional, you can see here optional. You can leave as it is. Catalog options. Okay, use glue data catalog as a Hive metastore. No, it is again an optional. Click on next. Okay, click on next. Wait. Showing like no data table is formed. Okay. Destination Redshift. Choose the data source. It should show no. Data source is required. Data source, yeah. A data source is required here. Okay, table not, it's showing like table not found. Let me check table. Where is the table? Let me check in database. Yeah, let me check in database. No table. Table is not found here. Hold on. Classification data added last update. Uh, Let me check in classification. No, we will see. Let try to run on next. Database is required. Asking like database is required. Data source was S3, right? Hold on, participants. Okay, we need to choose a data source here. Yeah, data source, let's say S3. Okay, let's say S3. Yeah, so I have chosen S3 here. Okay, so next, click on next. Now it's not displaying like, it's not showing S3. Search the table. Uh, Classification. Under classification, hold on. Hold on, participants. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Okay, here I think we need to add the table. Okay, so add using crawlers. Yeah, I'll use adding crawlers. Okay, enter the name of the crawler name here. So the choose the crawler name is Redshift. Redshift. Okay, next data sources same. Specify the path of the account. I think we did this one, right? I'm confused now. 1 second. Select optional. No. AWS IAM role. Choose that one. That choose the same role. Okay, so this is the path where my data is stored. Let me check here under S3. Let me put this and we'll see. Data not, it is asking like data not found. Hold on. So go to jobs here. Okay, under jobs, add jobs, name of the job. Let's say the name of the job be transfer S3, transfer S3 data. Okay, IAM role, I'll use the same IAM role. Spark stream Python shell. Okay, here I'll keep Spark Python shell. This is the version. Existing script that you provide. Proposed script, yeah, it's a proposed script. Let me have the proposed script to file name. Let me copy this first. Okay, so this is the source and this is the destination. Let me hover over. Let me create next source is required. I'm not getting source here. Let me have this. Table is not found. It's showing table is not found. Hold on. I think somewhere we have seen, right, where we saw, right, the table was there. CSP table, participants. Participants.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the add connection. Let me choose this. Let me test this connection first. Yes. Okay. Redshift. Test the connection. Yeah. Here only we have problem. Endpoint validation failed for subnet this VPC. NAT. We have action edit connections. Okay. Redshift is JDBC. I think admin. This is the VPC. Next, showing like JDBC. Re-enter the password. ADMIN123. Okay. So here group ID is again group IDB. Yeah, SG by default. I'll take that one. Next, finish it. Okay, so we'll test this one. So after performing test operation, so we can move forward. We can run the job there using this job function. Hold on a second. It is processing now. Let me click on this. Test this. Okay, so IAM user is this. Test this. It's showing like Redshift failed. VPC S3 endpoint validation failed for this subnet. Okay, reason could not find S3 endpoint, NAT S3 gateway. Okay, let me edit again. Go to this. JDBC, it's showing JDBC. Username and password. Work with the connections. Hold on, participant. I'm finding bit difficulty here. Okay, yesterday while practicing, I executed. Okay, admin 123. Security group same I have kept. Yes, by default. Next, finish it off. No, it's not. Okay, test connection. Root. My God. Let's go to classifier first. Okay, let me choose this. Actions. Okay, so this is correct. There is no problem with here. Edit classifier, delete classifier. Now next is go to Craveler. Craveler is an important part of Glue. Okay, so this should run Craveler. Okay, let me run the Craveler first. Yeah, Craveler is working successfully. Okay, so there is no problem with the Craveler. So after running the Craveler, hold on. Okay, wait a minute. It's getting started. Let me refresh. Yeah, 31 second elapsed. Let me refresh. Wait. hold on, guys. Okay, we need to test this Traveler. Wait. It's dropping. Wait. Hold on. This takes time. Little time. It's yeah. Log is ready. Okay. Edit Traveler. Stop run. Traveler is ready now. Okay. So completed. Now next, after Traveler, next let's go to connections. Let me check cross verifying connection. Okay. Here Redshift JDBC I have mentioned. Here we have made some mistake. Okay, I am role test connection. Now here we are finding the we have committed some mistake here. Edit connection. Let's go to edit connection. That's the reason I was not able to get the database over there in the job portion. Okay, next. Here, this is the path. JDBC syntax for the most database engine is JDBC protocol. Yeah, using JDBC only we are accessing the Redshift cluster. Admin, let me type the password here. Admin 123. Correct. Subnet VPC. Hold on. Subnet. Yeah, read 5B. VPC by default. Same, no? Same VPC we are using, right? Participants. Security group. Security group is, I think, EC2 security group. Not this EC2. It by default 9A, BA, 7F8 we have taken. Okay, launch wizard. We'll see this first. Then we'll go for IAM user. I think there we can modify. Okay, finish it off. No, it's showing same thing. Let's go to IAM user. Okay. IAM user. IAM user. Yes. Now next is under this IAM security. Hold on. Okay. Go to roles. Go to roles. Okay, here. Can anyone tell me like uh, which role? Yeah, glue this service, no? Participants? Glue, yes, this one. Let me click on this. Yeah, let me click on this. Select this one. This is the same role what we have created now. Okay, so let's try to add some more policy here. Okay, attach policy. So far here, see, I have given the access only for blue access I have given. Okay, now next let's try to give the access even for Redshift also. Redshift, full access for Redshift as well as full access for S3. Hold on. Yeah, here give the full access for Redshift. Just type Redshift. Redshift. Yeah, here you can you see this Redshift Amazon? Okay, Redshift. I'll give the full access for this Redshift. No, this is for Redshift to read. Redshift is the data from S3 to Redshift. Okay, through Glue. Here there is an option like Amazon Redshift full access you give. Okay, in the same way, let me attach this policy. Even I want to give the full access for S3 also. Okay, two policies are added. Again you go to add policy. Again you go to add policies. Okay, so next is go for S3 full access. S3 full access. So I've given now full access for Redshift. Okay, even for S3 also. Let me try again. Okay, whether it is possible to access the data. Okay, in Glue using S3 bucket. Fine. So you can see the newly configured policies here. Okay, under AWS Glue service role Redshift S3 data. Okay, so let me go again. Hover over to Glue. Again, I'll try here. Let me try. Let me refresh this. Hold on. Hold on, participants. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello, participants. Hello, interns.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, it's taking time. Huh? Wait. Hold on. Okay, let me refresh this because already we have changed the policies. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Uh, yeah. We'll check with classifier. Take this classifier. Action. No. So the classifier is working fine. Okay. Next comes the crawler. We need to test the crawler. So select the crawler. Run the crawler. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay. Crawler is running now. Next, go to connections. Okay. So Redshift test connection. Scrolling my IAM user. Same, no? S3 data, right? Participants. Yeah, test connection. Let me test. No, it's not showing it. Add connection, test connection. That means the glue is not able to get connect. I'm not able to connect Redshift with the glue here. Test. Let me try again. Test connection. VPC failed. VPC S3 endpoint validation failed for subnet ID. This is the ID VPC D3 reason. Okay, so we need to change the subnet ID here. That is 201 EA. Okay, 201 EA. 201 EA. Okay, we'll try again. Let me edit this. Edit connection. Redshift. Okay, next is hold on, participant. We need to complete this. 201 it's showing, but it was mentioned which one? 202. This is a group ID. Yeah, it is mentioned. I have mentioned here 201 EA. Okay, so instead of that one, we need to choose. Oh my god. Again, hold on. Let me test again. Hold on, participant. Next, click on next here. The I have mentioned this. Okay, so instead of that one, we need to mention. We should mention the other one. It's showing like subnet, you have mentioned, you have configured the subnet for this 201. Okay, so instead of that one, we should configure that one VPC to VPC D3 F7E5BB VPC. Okay, and the subnet is 201. Okay, let me check this. Gateway could not find S3 endpoint NAT gateway for the subnet, this subnet. Okay, it's showing like the subnet what we have configured in S3, it is not matching with this. Okay, so let me again go to traveler test connection, edit connection. Okay, next, go to next, admin, and the password, give the password admin 123. Next is VPC, same default VPC. Subnet is, we'll try with some other subnet, D7. Okay, D7083. Here, okay, WordPress base version, EC security default. I have mentioned default here. Okay, RDS EC2 version default, EC security group. Let me have the default one. Finish it off. No. Let me try in jobs. No, it will not work because Redshift, there are certain the problem while configuring Redshift with Glue, okay, as well as Redshift with S3. Let me try to have, let me hover over to jobs now. We'll try one more time. Okay, add job. Add job. Okay, name of the job. Let's give some name of the job. Okay, transfer S3 to Redshift. Redshift. Okay, so next is choose same IAM user. Here, Spark I have mentioned, Python shell. Let me try with Python shell. Okay, Python shell glue will existing script that you provide. Okay, from path script is stored here. Glue script, S3 glue scripts south root. Okay, so rest of the things are optional. Hit on next. Is on S3 object does not exist. Please exist. Please choose the existing path. Okay. Wait a minute. S3. Okay. Data set. Let me choose this. Select it. Okay. Now next, hit on next. Oh my God. Okay. Here. Connected. Redshift. Can you see this? Connections. Now it is connected. Participants. Participants. Participants.
Yes, sir.
Can you see connection? We was finding some difficulty in connections. Okay, participants, we was finding some difficulty in connections because of okay, the role what we created. Actually, what we did, okay, in role, okay, we gave only the access for Glue. Okay, so Glue can perform all the activities within that the module, but we haven't given the access for Redshift as well as for S3 for Glue to get the data from S3, okay, and to transfer the data from Glue to Redshift. Hope you are understanding. That's the reason it was not taking, I was not able to connect it. Now, so after giving the full access for Glue to get the to get the data from S3 and to transfer the data to Redshift, or to get the data from Redshift to transfer to the S3, vice versa. Now I'm able to connect it. And Redshift cluster, okay, it is showing Redshift cluster. Select. I will select the same Redshift cluster here. Add connection. Okay. And let me check again. hold on. Name of the connection, let's say, hold on, guys. Name of the connection. Hold on. Unmute. Okay, sorry. Let me, I'm audible, right? So next, let's give the add connections. Let's say the connection be transfer S3, trans S3 to Redshift. Hello, participants. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see the screen
No, sir.
now?
No, sir.
Add connections.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Clusters. Choose cluster demo Redshift. Okay. So next div. Okay. Admin. Again, give the password admin 123. Okay. Add it. Okay. So now you can see. Now you can select this. Okay. Select. So I have already selected. Now next is save the job and edit script. Save the job and edit script. Okay, so job is ready now. The next is choose the template button to insert the code and annotation lies. Okay, at your cursor location. For the example, choose strict pod parameters. These are the instructions what they have given here. Let me close this, and this is the code. Can you see this, participants? Participants.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the data? Can you see the data?
Yes, sir.
This is the data I am fetching from which Excel, which the data from S3. Understood? So data is, let me show you the data. Okay, S3. Let me go to S3. Let me download this. Okay, so let me download this. You will understand. So this data. Let me download this. The same data now we have chosen. Participants. Same data we have chosen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
sir.
yeah, data set, HR data set. So I have downloaded. Hold on. So once you are clear with the IAM role, no? So how to give the roles? Okay, so half of the 50% of the job in Amazon is done, I guess. Okay, what I feel. Okay, so this is the data set, HR data set. So this is the data, and this data I am displaying from where? Glue. Okay, that means I have transferred this data to where? In Glue. Understood? Okay, so this data, you can see this data here. Okay, you can see this is the complete data of my CSV file where I'm displaying here. Okay, under my Glue account. Now let me have the actions. Now let me see. Save as. I can save this. I can trigger this data. Okay, so I can trigger this one for the next job. Okay, so next, let me run the job. Okay, run this job. Okay, run the job. We hold on a second. Okay, so pending execution. So now it is executing. That means it is transferring the data, okay, right from S3 bucket to Redshift bucket. Let me see the schema. Okay, hold on. It is running. It is under running process. Run job. Okay, so it's still running. Hope you are clear with this. Okay, so tomorrow in tomorrow's session we will see how to fetch this data from the Redshift. Participants,